to this computer. Okay. Okay, Pak Yafi, you may start the class. We wait everyone to join. We
Okay,
can just start
thank
the
you.
class. Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you, Pandre.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably I will restart, yeah, the
Yes. Yeah.
introductions
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Okay.
just to
You
make
can.
sure. Yeah, okay, thank you, Pandre, and good morning, everyone, again. Pleased to meet you. Thank you so much for you guys for, having your time here this morning. Uh, so let me introduce myself. My name is Yafi, currently CEO of BlockToGo. So what is BlockToGo? BlockToGo is a blockchain-based consulting and development company. We are based in Indonesia, and we have been focusing more into the RWA, or real world asset tokenizations, for I think for the past 2 years, because it's currently the most uh, you know heavily focusing on globally. And as I said before, I understand that most of the people here, the participants, are from business major, and I would like to encourage you guys to jump into the industry, the blockchain and crypto industry. Despite of the jargons, the technical jargons, and everything, it's not that much of a scare, to be honest with you. Myself, I graduated from a marketing management major back in 2015, and it doesn't stop me. Despite from management background, business background, it doesn't stop me to enter this industry, right? So you don't have to be a software engineer, you don't have to be a developer to be able to work in the blockchain and crypto industry. We need you guys. We need people with business mindset, to innovate and bring more use cases. Basically, business models, new concepts of blockchain use cases are very much needed in the industry right now. So let me start with my slides here. Let me just share right now. Can you see the slides? I
Yes.
Yes,
think so.
yes,
Okay,
sir.
that is great. Thank you. So let us start with introductions. As I said before, this is us, BlockToGo. Our company name is actually Indonesia Blockchain Persada, but we make it short, right? BlockToGo. So blockchain to go. It's very easy to remember. Hopefully, you guys can remember us very well. So basically, we are a blockchain enabler, right? So we are a consulting company. We can consult, clients, institutions, people who wants to build blockchain. Everything. You want to tokenize something. You want to, build tokens. You want to build supply chain management based on blockchain. Everything. We can do that. We can consult with you. We can advise you what is the most feasible and probably cost efficient way to blockchainize whatever it is that you want, right? And after the consulting, right, we can also develop for you. So this is what we do. We can actually do from A to Z in the Web3 industry. Um, so as you may know, blockchain is beyond cryptocurrency, right? So we also not only focusing on the cryptocurrency side, or crypto assets as of now, we also can help you with any of the blockchain applications that can help your institutions, or probably you have some concept that you already have in mind. We can make it a reality, right? So we are also a member of a few uh, organizations. We are also part of the BRAIN from the IPB University. We are part of Corica, and also we are part of the Association of Blockchain of Indonesia. Right. So next, these are part list of our clients. Mostly are uh, state-owned companies, right? We are partner up, and we have built use cases for Peruri. We are also partnering up with Pegadaian for one of our tokenizations use case. Also with Gallery 24. We also partner up with Clearing Jaga Indonesia for one of the tokenization as well. And the Below are also our partner, basically crypto exchanges, Indodex, Toko Crypto, Gunung Crypto, and the last is BPJS Kesehatan, which is one of our recent clients for blockchain, basically blockchain solutions, right? So what we do, more in details, we do consulting, as I said before, we do development, we do workshop and web integration. For example, if you have already a business or concepts on Web2, we can help you integrate or basically expand your business into Web3 industry. Right. So that's about us. I would like to refresh a bit. I understand Andre here. I understand that you guys might have, received a lot of blockchain informations and knowledge from Andre, but I would like to refresh just a bit, right? So what is blockchain, right? In my opinion, blockchain has three main characteristics. The first one, of course, is transparent. This is very important because a lot of systems they're not transparent because of centralizations, right? It's very easy to censor. We can see from our social media, very centralized. Everything that you put there, even though it's user-generated content, it's from you, it's your content, but the people who owns the platform can censor everything that they deem censorable, right? The second characteristic that is very important in blockchain is immutability. So what is immutability? Basically, immutability is, in simple terms, I believe immutability is something that you cannot really break or you cannot really penetrate, right? So I will explain a bit in the next slide about the immutability. But the last one is secure. So we go to the next slide. This is to demonstrate the transparency, right? Blockchain is a network. In simple term, blockchain is distributed ledger. What does it mean to be distributed? It means that everyone who are the participant of the network can see and can witness everything. So this is one of the simple demonstrations of the transparency in blockchain. This is the header scan, which is the blockchain, what do you call that? The blockchain explorer for a Ethereum blockchain. As you might know, Ethereum is one of the most popular blockchain right now in the whole world. I actually screenshot this one like a few months ago, so this is not very updated. You can actually search in the Google for Etherscan to see the live version of it, right? So what is happening in the Etherscan is that Etherscan scan every transactions happening in the Ethereum blockchain in real time, right? So as you can see from the slides here, from the slide here, you can see there are latest logs, right? So this one like 6 seconds ago, 18 seconds ago, it's pretty much real time. So every time someone doing a transactions on the Ethereum blockchain, it will show on the Etherscan. So this is transparency, right? You can see everything. So let's say if I click one of the blocks here, it will go to this, right? So block number 194787848. It contains a lot of information here, as for example, the timestamp. So this is on 20 March 2024. So this is actually last year. Sorry about that. On 10 p.m., 47 seconds. So it's very specific, right? A lot of information here is very specific. So it's proposed on slot 867902. There are 219 transactions in this block, right? So this is transparency. You can see everything, right? There's no hidden information, and everyone can see everything. So that means it's very transparent. If I click one of the transactions, it will go to here. So list of transactions are done in this specific blocks, right? So we have a lot of address here. These are the transaction hash, which we can similar to like receipt number, right? So this is unique to each transactions. and we can see the sender and the receiver. So, for example, the first one from Test and Builder, this has been whitelisted. So that's why the address is not alphanumeric. It's not 0x blah blah blah. This is already whitelisted. Test and Builder sending something to Lido. So if we can see on the second one, this is more organic transactions, right? From 0xb77 something something to 0x7fb something something. So as you can see here, a lot of things going on here. A lot of things you can see. It's very transparent, right? So next swap is I'd like to refresh a bit on how the chain of blocks happen. So blockchain, literally the name is a chain of blocks, right? So what happens in the blockchain is the first block, or we call it Genesis block, is actually chained by encryption to the next blocks until the recent block that we have. So everything that is, someone trying to do harm in the blockchain networks, they probably want to change the record of the past blocks. For example, they are trying to change something or some values or numbers in the transactions on the block number 4, then that means that they have to change something in here, right? But because of the chain of blocks, there's also encryptions, right? Whenever someone or something change it's either on the first blocks or even the latest block or in between, it will be noticeable by the blockchain because the hashing, or you can say the encryptions, will not match with either the previous or the block answer. So this is immutability basically. So in layman terms, I can say that this is very exciting for me back then, because this means that something that human created, uh, uh, typically, in my opinion, something that human created is very hard, or it's very easy for human to break or destroy it, right? But with this kind of systems, it is very hard to be destroyed, or rather, I say it's very costly to be destroyed, right? So this is the beauty of blockchain. Basically, the immutability is one of the beauty of blockchain, right? So let's get on to the next one. So this is how the blockchain works. It's quite simple. The scenario here is to send something over the blockchain network, right? So for example, here, A wants to send money to B via the blockchain networks. So once the request has been created by A, the second step will be the transaction is represented online as a block. So it will be sent to the block. Then the block will be broadcasted to the nodes, right? The participants, the witnesses of the networks. Then they will know something is coming, right? A wants to send to B. Very simple. Then once the network proves the witnesses are okay, there's no harm, there's no malicious intent from A from B, basically. The blockchain or the block will be added to the next block. So it will create another chain from the previous block, right? So that's when the transaction is completed. And this process usually basically depends on the confirmations. It can be done within seconds, or it can be done within minutes if the networks are congested, basically. So this is how secure it is to, use blockchain. Basically, to just send a value over the blockchain network is very secure because you have a lot of witnesses, you have encryptions, and it's very secure because I can say the next slide. We can see from the uptime itself. This is for Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin has been uptime for 99.98% during these past few years. They started from 2019, right? So 2019, sorry, not 2009. They started 2009 with 100% uptime. There are only 2 years of less than 100% uptime, which is on 2010 and 2013. So this shows that the networks are very secure. The networks are very dependable. It's very consistent, And this is one of the networks that I believe with the less disruptions if you compare to a centralized networks, right? So this is very good. Okay, so next one, why blockchain is very secure as well. This is the example of the public blockchain. Bitcoin nodes, it is very distributed all over the world. You can see um, the top 10 locations of the nodes are basically distributed over the continents, right? Even though we can see that a lot of congestion or focus on the Europe and the United States, but we can see in Asia there are also a lot of nodes located there. What does it mean? It means that the more distributed the nodes are, the more secure, because if there's a natural disaster, for example, in Asia or in Indonesia, right? So we have the other nodes from the other continents to synchronize with. So it would be a backup, for example. So something happens in the Asia region, the nodes from Europe and US or North America will be able to withstand the network itself. So there will be no problem with the downside. So this is why it's very secure. Okay. So before I jump into use case, I would like to uh, for us to have more discussion on use cases, right? So whenever you have questions, please raise your hands or just interrupt me and unmute yourself, ask your questions. That will be fine. But before that, is there any questions on the blockchain 101?
Anyone have question to Pak Yafi?
Not yet, I think so.
Not
Okay.
yet, sir.
Okay. So I will continue with my slide in the use cases. Once again, guys, if you have any questions on the use case, I would like to have more discussions. So please just raise your hands or just unmute yourself, right? So I have prepared a few of the main topics on the use cases across industries. The first one that I'm most excited about is the CBDC or Central Bank Digital Currency, currently spearheaded by the Bank of Indonesia, called Project Garuda. We already have the white paper, I think, ends of 2023, and they have released the consultative paper last year. We are waiting for the pilot test from the Bank of Indonesia within this year, but we still have no more information on it. So I will jump into that after this slide. The second topic is real world asset tokenizations. This is very, very hot topic in the industry right now. A lot of Web2 companies, especially banks, are dying to jump into the Web3 industry through this tokenization. And then, of course, the third one is supply chain management, one of the most popular topic a few years back. The fourth one is the government service and industry, and the last one is healthcare. So basically, these are the things that is currently trending, I can say, in the industry, and these are the things that we are currently working on, except the CBDC. So let's start with the CBDC, central bank digital currency. So if we see from the global perspective, right, there are also other countries that have jumped into the CBDC before even Bank of Indonesia started and doing the white paper. So the first one I reckoned was China. China did the pilot, I think, on 2022. It's very early. So we can see from the map here that the yellow ones are already launched. Green ones are still doing pilot testing. The blue, light blue is on development. The dark blue is on research. Pink is inactive and purple is cancelled, right? So we can see around Indonesia. Indonesia is currently on development, right? As we can understand from the study paper from Bank of Indonesia, there's in development yet for pilot testing. For the the one that has launched is actually, I can see the Venezuela and one country in Africa. I'm not sure which one is this. And we can see from the pilot testing countries are China and Russia. I believe China and Russia still pilot testing. I believe it is due to the BRICS, the Brazil, Russia, India, China. Those are the things that really heavily influence the CBDC because BRICS are trying to, detach themselves from the dependency of USD, right? So this is one of the reasons why, countries build CBDCs because they want to, detach themselves from the USD. I can see there's a question here from Zufar, Abian, sorry. So, okay, the question is the sentence downtime. What caused the downtime in the networks? Okay, I probably will pause this slide and try to answer the questions from Abian right before we jump into the CBDC more. So basically downtime, I am not quite sure, Abian, for the cost of downtime in 2010 and 2013 on Bitcoin networks, but probably it was still very early, right? So the nodes are not that much. Probably they were, playing with the client itself, the node service. It probably there are less than 100 of nodes, and mostly they are maintained. The nodes are in the US, right? So probably there's a hiccups in providing the nodes from themselves. I believe 2010 is very early, only 1 year after the Bitcoin launch. Uh, People are still doing mining or basically providing nodes for Bitcoin as a part-time basis. That's probably why the downtime went to 99.9% back in 2010 and 2015. So most likely that is the reason. The other reason probably there's a natural disaster or probably there's a internet disaster back in the US or uh, most probably back in the US because the Bitcoin was big in the US back in 2010. So that's why I believe. For the exact reasons, I haven't checked. I haven't looked it up. Probably next time we can look it up in 2010 and 2013 why the Bitcoin downtime, or sorry, the Bitcoin uptime is not 100%. I hope that answer your questions, Abian. Uh, right. So then we don't have any questions yet, and I would like to continue with the explanation on CBDC. Right. So we can see here a lot of BRICS country are on either piloting or development. I believe they will be beneficial for BRIC members, right? So we can do uh, uh, export imports with CBDCs instead of USDs, and it will only strengthen our fiat currencies, right? Instead of strengthening the US dollars. So basically, that is the main objectives of CBDCs. The second objective, I believe, is to keep track of the national currencies circulating in the country itself. Because I understand that, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I understand, the current circulations of rupiah, especially the physical money, is not very accurate. The numbers, right? Because it's very hard to keep track of the money basically circulating in a country. So I think that is one of the more beneficial objectives from the Bank of Central Bank of or Bank of Indonesia doing the CBDC. Right. So this is what I explained to you guys. The Project Garuda from Bank of Indonesia. You can check in the Google for the white paper. You can see the white paper for the East Asia and Oceania. As you can see, a lot of countries already jump into the CBDCs. A lot of them are in research and development. Only, I believe, China, Malaysia, and Singapore are the ones in pilot testing. But the rest are basically on development and research. So this is the state of CBDC's development in East Asia and Oceania. So this is very exciting times. Hopefully, within the next 2 years, we can see the pilot testing of the CBDCs. However, from the Project Garuda, Bank of Indonesia themselves, they said for the next probably 2 years, they will start only from not the retail, but from the wholesale part of CBDCs. So that means they will use the CBDC only for institutions, most probably from central banks to banks and clearing house probably. So for us, the citizens of Indonesia, we might not touch directly with the CBDCs for the next 2 years. So hopefully, once the wholesale has been tested very well, then they will move into the what do you call that, the retail side of CBDCs, right? So next one, this is one of the favorite topics that I have is real world asset tokenizations. I would like to explain what we do and what we did with the tokenization itself. So BlockToGo, we have what we call GIDR, which is the Gold Indonesia Republic. This is the first Indonesia gold-backed token. So this is a straightaway one-to-one gold-backed token that we have in Indonesia or even the world with a unit of 1 gram. So typically, gold tokenization out there, we have few others like Tax Gold and Tether Gold. They are in the unit of troy ounce, which is about 51 something grams per troy ounce. But I understand that Indonesians, we don't really familiar with troy ounce, right? We are more familiar with the grams. So that's what we did. We did a token with a unit of 1 gram. So one GADR equals to 1 gram of gold. So this is very straightforward tokenizations. We are partnering up. We partner up with Pegadaian and Gallery 24, which is a subsidiary of Pegadaian. Pegadaian here currently as a custodian for the physical gold. They are also the first bullion bank in Indonesia. They have retained their license, I think 2 months ago. So they are the first bullion bank in Indonesia with a license, and they are our custodian for the physical gold in this GIDR token. And Gallery 24 is our partner for the source of gold. So basically, they are our supplier. So every tokens of GIDR equals to 1 gram of gold from the Gallery 24. So this is a very straightforward use case. And for the future, we have roadmaps as well. So this is not just tokenization to trade, right? We currently have one use case on top of the GIDR token. We currently have, we call it redemption, right? So whenever you have enough tokens of GIDR, you can actually request to redeem it into a physical gold. For example, you have one GIDR. Once you have paid the redemption fee, then you can actually request to pick up your physical gold in one of the Pegadaian branches, which currently are only located in Senen, in Jakarta. And you can actually buy this token in the DEX currently and Kuliah Crypto. It's very easy. Why we did this is because we want to, for people to that is very new to crypto, they are very, I can say, very fragile, right, to the volatility of crypto markets. So that's why we try to provide a more safe haven tokens, more stable. And this is based of gold. So that means once the price of gold goes up, that means basically our token price goes up. Once the gold price goes down, then our token will follow. So this is very safe investment for basically newbies in the crypto industry. So once you come in, you can actually try to invest and try to learn, starting with a less volatile tokens like the Gold Indonesia Republic. This is one of the reasons why we built this, right? So next up, next up, we also have a few things that I haven't prepare in the slides, right? So I would like to discuss with you guys actually. We do have some concepts here regards to the tokenizations, right? So basically everything that is have reward use case or reward assets, it can be tokenized. For example, because this year we have been through the OJK sandbox for the past 1 year, we also have a few of our friends in sandbox. I'd like to explain probably a few of them. So one of the participants of the sandbox is called Goro. So what they did is they have these properties. Most of them are in Bali that they rent it out, right? So basically, it's a property that is rented out, and they tokenize the property, but not the property itself, but they tokenize the renting opportunity, right? So let's say you have one villa that with a median of let's say 1 billion rupiah worth of renting for a year, right? So they are not tokenizing the property, the villa. They are tokenizing the opportunity of renting it out, right? Because we know Bali is one of the most prospective place of tourism, right? So with a potential of 1 billion rupiah for the next year, they're tokenizing it, and basically they're selling tokens to investors, and they promising returns, right? So if let's say the renting opportunity increased because of the peak of seasons, for example, a lot of Australians coming in, a lot of Chinese coming in, the actual renting comes to 1.5 billion. So the rest of the 500, it will be basically given or will be distributed to the investors. So this is what they do. And what we have also talked with the BPN, the Badan Pertanahan Negara, is basically we want to be able to tokenize the property itself. But the problem is um, the data, right? The source data of our land certificates basically is still in written, right? So we have all physical documents in store, and we don't have exactly a good metadata to store, right? So and every document that they have is handwritten. So it's either the chances are it's either you can't really read what it said about because it's handwritten, or it's not accurate because it was done like probably a decade, 2 decades, 4 decades ago with an outdated method of you know uh, basically measuring the land piece and everything. So it's very hard. So we can actually try to tokenize the property or the land once we have a good source of data from the BPN themselves, right? So this is one of the issues. I think it also applies to a few industries in Indonesia because if we don't have the exact, the data stats that is already uniform and it's very digital, it's very hard to tokenize it. But other than that, like the example here that we brought is gold, right? We can also tokenize basically everything as long as it's real world assets, right? Like example, we can tokenize our silver, we can tokenize our copper, we can tokenize our nickel, probably, even our coal, we can tokenize it. And I think for the past few years, one of the commodity that is very, very interesting to be tokenized is also a carbon credit, right? The United Nations and the world basically have agreed that countries have been given certain period of time, right, to achieve net carbon or zero carbon. So basically, once they cannot achieve that, there will be additional tax or payments that need to be paid to the UN, for example. So I think we have that as well. We have, but until 2050 or 2060, if I'm mistaken. And um, I believe a few years back, there was also a draft on carbon tax, right? So I think that is one of the reasons as well why the EVs, the electric vehicles, has been, very heavily penetrated in our country, because as a country ourselves, we are we have a target, right, for zero carbon. And people were very much interested in tokenizing the carbon credit, because we have a lot of forests, right? We have a lot of land that can actually produce the carbon. While countries, small countries like probably countries in Europe, they don't have any forest left, and a lot of carbons that they produce, but they can actually offset by buying the carbon credits from countries like us. So that's why the opportunity came for people to tokenize the carbon credit itself. But it was actually because of the regulations from the Ministry of Forestry that we couldn't actually sell our carbon credit to the international market. So we can only sell within the country. That is one of the issues. Yeah. So I think I would like to have more discussion on this, right? So I would like to encourage the participants to probably brainstorm, give me some ideas, and show me your ideas on what are the things that you might think that can be tokenized. It can be reward assets like the commodities that we have. It can be something. It can be actually financial instruments. We already have a draft of the new regulations from OJK for tokenizations. I will explain to you once we have, this kind of brainstorming sessions. Is that okay, Pandri? I think there will be more
Yeah.
engaging.
I think it's a good idea to invite the participant to join the discussion. I think, guys, this is a very good example of use case of blockchain, like real world asset tokenization. I think is still underexplored in Indonesia. But the question I think still remains for the majority of people that still learn about blockchain, the monetization and how it is
Yeah.
related to the business, etc. But okay, I will. I think everyone who wants to have a question, just raise your hand, or just talk to the mic, or write in the chat. Anyone?
Yeah, please. If you have any ideas, we can actually discuss it here. We can go through like the possibility of monetization. We can possibly discuss about the business models. A lot of things we can discuss. I think this is more uh, constructive, I guess.
Oh,
Than just me explaining.
Pak Yafi, I think we
Yes, sir.
can invite also student to talk in Indonesia. So
Yeah, please.
share, ya.
That's
Jadi
fine.
teman-teman bisa tanya juga dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Kalau misalkan banyak yang intriguing tadi yang menurut saya sangat, terutama tadi ada OJK, kemudian ada regulasi, terus ada roadmap yang akan dilakukan. Silakan teman-teman. I think we can save it for the next
Okay,
the next
that's fine.
okay.
That's
Itu
fine.
ada Pak Mas Heru. You
Oh
want to
yeah,
ask the
please.
question? Silakan Mas Heru.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Actually, I'm not a student from the Telkom University, but I have to pursue maybe a master degree there in the next few years, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah.
And I became interested after seeing Mr. Andrew post on my Facebook pages yesterday, so I immediately to join this webinar. I'm very grateful, and this event was so insightful for me. So within this year, I am running my startup company with my friends that focusing on the disaster mitigation and then insurance industry. I have a question because in the phase three next year, we'll continue to tokenize our startup. So my question is, what the best approach to make the data exchange auditable yet efficient, hybrid, on-chain or off-chain, or fully on-chain architecture, Mr. Muhammad Yafi? If now on the phase two, we now running on centralized application.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Mas Heru. So before I answer, I would like to know more, right? So for example, you want to tokenize exactly what? Is it the insurance or is there any specific assets probably that you want to tokenize? And for the
Yes,
data exchange, right? And what kind of data that you want to store on the blockchain? Because it depends.
yeah. I think that's the insurance itself, also the flow itself for the user. User will be checked in ya, like yeah. Can I just talk in Indonesia? By the way, it's a little bit
Yeah,
tricky
yeah,
to me.
Ya, nggak apa-apa,
Jadi
Mas Heru.
jadi Pak Yafi, kurang lebih eh, sistem yang kami buat adalah untuk sistem peringatan dini sebetulnya yang akan bekerja sama dengan BPBD ya. Kebetulan saya di Pangandaran, jadi untuk flow-nya sendiri si user dalam hal ini wisatawan ya, check in kan di hotel dan nanti akan check in menggunakan sistem yang sangat sederhana sebetulnya, QR code, berjalan di browser, nanti datanya di capture, nama, berapa hari dia tinggal, kemudian dia akan mendapatkan notifikasi melalui WA Blast seperti itu, dan itulah sebetulnya apa kewajiban BPBD ya untuk memberikan informasi terkait mitigasi bencana. Kalau Pangandaran kan dalam hal ini konteksnya dia bencananya yang mungkin terjadi adalah gempa dan tsunami ya. Jadi BPBD akan memberikan informasi terkait mitigasinya. Dan kami punya ide untuk apa melakukan tokenisasi dalam hal ini supaya dalam hal ini kan informasinya tidak bisa dimodifikasi kemudian apa dipalsukan seperti itu karena kan harus dihitung ya berapa kali dia blast seperti itu di sistemnya. Kemudian kami juga punya ide untuk mengintegrasikan dengan sistem asuransi seperti itu karena ada beberapa pihak ketiga juga yang ingin bekerja sama dengan kami dalam hal asuransi seperti itu, Pak Yafi. Kira-kira pendekatan apa yang paling memungkinkan dan ya paling mudah lah dalam fase 3 kami nanti saat di production release seperti itu. Barangkali.
Baik, kalau saya pahamin Mas Heru, jadi kalau sebenarnya kan kalau untuk proses bisnisnya sendiri lebih ke ketika si user check-in ya ke hotel dan data itu dijadikan sebagai acuan untuk mitigasi bencana tadi kan. Lalu kenapa masuk si asuransi? Karena ketika misalkan orang tersebut ternyata punya asuransi dan terkena dampak dari bencana tersebut bisa dengan mudah dapat santunannya gitu ya. Nah, jadi mungkin ini sebenarnya cocok ketika misalkan kita ngomongin identity ya. Identity ini kan nyambung ke orang ya. Jadi ketika user tadi biasanya kalaupun misalkan mau check-in akan memberikan KTP gitu ya, KTP untuk sebagai verifikasi bahwa memang orang ini memesan, orang ini yang tinggal di situ sementara waktu. Nah jadi ada baiknya karena untuk sistem KTP kan sudah tersedia secara digital sebenarnya di Dukcapil. Nah cuman memang kalau misalkan kita mau akses data itu ada bayar memang untuk verifikasi sebenarnya itu. Jadi verifikasi ini adalah ketika kita punya KTP, kita mau ngecek datanya ke Dukcapil, apakah data ini benar sesuai, bukan KTP palsu ya. Itu kita ada akses API ke Dukcapil. Nah, memang ada biaya di situ. Cuman sebenarnya kita bisa apa namanya kalau misalkan hotel biasa mungkin akan fotokopi ya KTP ya. yang simpelnya fotokopi KTP, nanti data disimpan. Cuman kan data ini balik lagi satu, kalau KTP-nya tidak aktif atau KTP lama atau KTP palsu, tidak bisa dibuktikan nih datanya, satu ya. Lalu yang kedua kan nanti itu
Parkirnya kemana?
sebenarnya nyambung ke
Mau ke Curug Pelangi parkirnya di sini bukan? Sini. Oh, di sini bisa.
nyambung
Itu penuh.
eh, ada yang ini. Oke, balik lagi. Jadi sebenarnya dari data KTP tadi, data orangnya, data diri, itu
Tolol
harusnya
anjing.
nyambung ke
Belokan di gasin
nyam-
anjing.
nyambung ke apa namanya, nyambung ke asuransi harusnya seperti itu ya. Nah, sebenarnya ini untuk proses yang masih simple, nggak harus pakai blockchain karena juga data
Ya.
data diri itu kan sangat sensitif ya.
Oh, tadi
Kalau
gue
misalkan
start
data
ya.
masuk ke dalam blockchain tanpa ada enkripsi tambahan, takutnya nanti malah jadi eh, bocoran data pribadi. Nah, jadi ini
Gila,
yang
gerah
harus
banget.
diperhatikan juga. Jadi kalau misalkan baru simple dan
Parkirnya langsung mana?
pihak-pihaknya juga belum terlalu banyak, masih dari BPPD tadi ya, sama
5.000.
asuransi misalkan.
5.000.
Asuransi pun kalau misalkan baru satu, saya
Baru ada.
rasa masih belum terlalu efektif untuk misalkan harus pakai blockchain. Kalau pakai blockchain sih umumnya ketika pihaknya sudah sangat banyak dan punya apa namanya punya kepentingan masing-masing lah ya. Kalau misalkan let's say asuransinya udah 5 gitu ya. Nah, ini udah mulai harus pakai blockchain mungkin karena si asuransi tadi kan masing-masing mereka nggak mau sharing data pastinya nggak mau sharing data apa namanya pelanggannya langsung. Nah, jadi itu dengan distributed data kita bisa bantu untuk apa namanya sharing data yang pentingnya aja gitu. Nah, jadi kurang lebih begitu Mas Heru. Semoga bisa membantu sih untuk yang konsepnya tadi ya.
Ya, terima kasih sekali Pak Yafi atas.
Mas Yafi, I have a
Ya.
question about the business model actually. I think
Hmm.
your business model is in real world asset tokenization. I think it's the first in Indonesia, right?
Yeah,
I don't
for
see. Yeah, from GIDL, right?
yes,
Yeah.
that is correct, Pak.
I think I believe the student have many question, but maybe they are shy to ask the question. But the most important is that the challenge to do this business because the first the pioneer to go into the market is very difficult, especially regarding the regulation. You you were going through the sandbox in OJK, right? So
Yes, we did.
basically it's quite an experience. I think uh, you can share those experience to make the student have inspiration how to do this kind of business regarding market monetization and regulation and also the challenge to make your business thrive until now. Maybe you still a lot of things to do, but I think it's a good example of the one of the business in one of the business model uh, RWA in Indonesia.
Right. Thank
Pak,
you, Pak Andri.
ya.
Thank you. I think the foremost thing that we have to consider doing business in the Web3 industry in Indonesia, especially, is trust. So, trust is the number one currency, even more expensive than Bitcoin, I believe, especially in the industry. So, once you are tokenizing something, right, you have to have trust from the public. This is one of the reasons why we partner up with Pegadaian, which is one of the oldest state-owned company. They are 122 years old, and you can say that they are the biggest gadai company in the whole world. And then they are the first bullion bank in Indonesia, licensed bullion bank. So trust is number one. So before we jump into the business model, we have to find trusted partners, right? Trusted partners will bring you very far. And once you do that, you have to look for opportunity, how to increase your trust. In our case, last year when we enrolled to the sandbox for JK, we don't really have specific regulations about token issuer. So BlockToGo in JDR, we act as a token issuer. We issue the tokens. Pegadaian is our custodian, Galileo 24 is our supplier, right? And We partner up with exchanges like Indodex as the pedagang, which is the exchange, right? So we saw the opportunity that OJK just opened their sandbox for they call it IAKD, which is Inovasi Aset Keuangan Digital, which translates basically to crypto, one of the innovation in digital finance. Digital finance, yes, digital finance. So we enroll into the OJK sandbox to gain recognitions as well from the OJK themselves because we have not been regulated yet. And then we did the whole year in the sandbox. We learned a lot, especially about the compliance, right? Because crypto, as far as I know, since 2017, 2018, it's been very, very loose in terms of regulations, especially in Indonesia. So the regulations that we have is focusing more into the bursa, exchange, and custodian, right? So these three parts are on the seller side, but they have not yet regulate the people who owns the goods, which is issuer, right? So everyone who has tokens, local or international, they can sell quite easily in Indonesia as long as they have whitelisted. I think this is one of the problems that we have in Indonesia. Like meme tokens, it's very risky, right? Meme tokens basically doesn't have any utility, doesn't have any underlying assets. It's just for memes. And people are flocking into the meme tokens. Lots of money speculating on meme tokens in Indonesia, which is very weird, I believe. If they just want to speculate, it's very risky because whenever someone who has enough funds, they can actually just, play, come and jump into the market. It's very, very risky. And by doing the sandbox, we actually gain recognitions from the OJK. We understand the compliance part of the OJK. We understand that OJK is trying to give security to the users, right? To the customers. And that's why they are currently have a draft of the new regulations are going to directly regulate the token issuers like us. So again, I would like to enhance the word of trust in this industry because it's very important, it's very expensive. What we are trying to build is trust with the underlying assets of gold, right? So we want to have gold on the crypto industry that is local. One, it's local. Second is trusted because you can redeem it, right? For example, if you go to PaxG or Tether Gold, you can actually redeem, but most likely you will be able to redeem it in Switzerland. It's very far, and their unit is in troy ounce, so you have to be minimum. You have to have minimum of 1 troy ounce, which is 31 grams something. It's very expensive. While with us, you can actually start with 1 gram, and you can redeem it in Jakarta in one of the Pegadaian branch in Senen. You can do that, right? It's very transparent, it's very easy. And then about the monetizations, the business model, we understand that from the token itself, Andre, it's not very profitable. If you understand with the gold market, selling gold, it has a very minimum margin, right? So what we are trying to aim is we are trying to build a lot of use cases on top of our tokens, right? Like the redemption itself, we actually impose a fee for people who want to exchange or redeem their tokens into physical gold, right? So it's basically like the as simple as the business model from the typical gold shops that they have a buyback value, which is lower than the sell value, right? That is one of the business model that we have. The second business model that we have is basically the next use case that we are trying to achieve, which is gadai, right? Pegadaian, they've been surviving for 122 years simply on gadai, right? Gadai is basically a collateralized lending, right? You have something, an asset, cash, right? And you have to pay, and you have to pay with the interest, right? So lending itself in crypto industry, it's actually normal. It's quite common outside of Indonesia. We don't have yet that much of lending use case in Indonesia. And we are trying to introduce this lending in a more stable way. Instead of you lending your assets, your crypto assets, that is quite volatile, we can actually you can actually buy a gold-backed token like JDR, and you can actually lend your JDR, and you can receive cash whenever you have something that you need to pay, right? Because as we know, gold price is steadily increasing, and it's not very wise to sell your gold right now if you, let's say, you have something to pay urgently, right? For example, you have a hospital bill to pay, but then you already have your investment in gold, and if you, let's say, if you sell your gold right now to pay that hospital bill, you might lose the opportunity to gain the gold price, let's say, in the next year. Because if you buy, once you have enough money to buy, rebuy your gold, and you have lost a few percent of the increment. So this is what we are trying to do, and hopefully it's understandable that lending is one of the business models that we are aiming for the next roadmap. But currently, as a token, we have a margin of very minimum, Andre, in selling the tokens from the gold that we bought into the token that we issued. So yeah.
Thank you, Pak Mas Yafi. So the big case is after the foundation. Yeah, you
Yes.
create the foundation, and then you build the business case later. I think that is a good example for the student. Okay, I think anyone have a question? Not yet. Maybe if not yet, you can continue,
Okay.
Mas Yafi.
Let's continue then. Yeah, let's move on to the next topic. I have the supply chain management topic, which is very common use cases a few years back. So basically, supply chain management on blockchain is one of the most popular and early use case, right? This is very straightforward and basic use case. It involves a lot of stakeholders that doesn't trust each other. This is a very good opportunity for blockchain to come in. So typical solutions will be using the multi-signature feature. So multi-signature, basically, if you ever have like a token from your bank, right? If you are managing an account that has more than two holders, typically you will be given a token so you can multi-sign, right? So whenever you want to have the money transfer out, you have to have basically two authentications from two different persons. This is very similar to it. So multi-signature in blockchain is very simple. Basically, if let's say you want to have something transfer out from your account, you have two or more people approving the transactions so it can go through. So this is the one of the feature of blockchain that typically used in the supply chain management. So on my next slide, I have basically a diagram. This is the typical, what you call that, the typical supply chain journey from the productions until the retail. So for each of the process of the supply chain management, it can be recorded, right, in the blockchain. So for example, if you see here from the production side, we have three outputs of documents. First one is certificate of origin. It can be applied to any kind of goods. Typically, the ones that has very important needs of certificate of origin for what you call it, the commodity like coffee, right? Because coffee in Indonesia we have uh, quite a lot of origins. For example, the Gayo from Aceh, it can create a certificate of origin that to certify that this coffee comes from Aceh. This is the Gayo coffee. It's very specific species, very specific location that it's been grown on. So this one, the number one certificate of origin can be recorded on the blockchain record. Right? So the batch number also can be recorded. The processing data, like how it is washed, how it is roasted, and everything, it can be recorded into blockchain, right? So the first one is from the production. So the producers of the coffee, they are using the multi-signature to sign the transactions, and the transactions that they sign are these three data: certificate of origin, batch number, and processing data. So that one comes into the first record of data. Second one, once the product has been produced, it's going for shipment, right? So the shipment company, another stakeholder, they are putting into the multi-sig. They are putting these four data like shipment date, order number, HSS code, and barcode for the packaging of the goods, right? Then the next one comes into the warehouse from the same shipping company. It will record three things: certificate of origin from the producers, batch numbers, and production data. Right. So once it's been sorted, it will go to the next part, which is another shipment. So shipment dates, order numbers, HSS code, temperature, and barcode. Temperature, if it's a temperature sensitive goods, like for example, fish, frozen fish, seafoods and everything, it's very, very important to watch out the temperature. It's a cold chain basically, right? So if a cold chain, you have to maintain a certain numbers of temperature. If not, the goods will be broken. Simple as that. So in the last mile, you will have order number, shipment number, equipment number, temperature, and they will sign the transactions containing these documents or data. So once it has been received, probably by the store, right? So they will have few of the documents or data that has been recorded, which is like receipt date, when it is received, the pick date, packaging specifications, packaging barcode, temperature, and everything. And once it goes to the retailer, they will also record this data, which is receiving date, the order number, invoice number, customer ID, and temperature. So each of these process, right, it has been processed by different stakeholders that they are not trusting each other. They are in the business of just doing what they can. However, it will be very important if there's an issue on the product, right? For example, the real use case issue. I remember a few years back. I think during COVID or before COVID, there's a E. coli outbreak from a lettuce project in the Walmart in the US, right? So they have been implementing the blockchain-based supply chain management. So if let's say they want to know, for example, the specific batch that has been contaminated, they can just trace back into the records on the blockchain. The batch, let's say there's a change of temperature during the shipment here, so they can actually pinpoint what is the problem and where is this originated from. So typically, like the latest, right, they have different suppliers all over the countries, or probably they imported the latest from outside of the country. So they can actually pinpoint, for example, if that's latest from China or is that a local latest that has been shipped, probably the shipment was wrong, the temperature changed, so it gets warmer and then it gets infected with the E. coli during the shipment, they can actually pinpoint in which part of the process and who actually the culprit of the problems. While in a normal supply chain, you cannot really know because the data here is not really shared to everyone in the ecosystems, right? If let's say we are doing the conventional ones, we have to ask each stakeholders, and if they're willing to do or willing to share the data, that's fine. But if they are not willing to share the data, that's a problem for them. That's a problem for the retailer, right? Because the retailer here is the one who sell the goods directly to the customers. The customers complaining something, then they have to bear the cost basically. So this blockchain records helps everyone in the loop for each of the transactions or each of the data shared by each stakeholders. So this is basically what are the things in supply chain management doing with blockchain. So probably is there any questions from you guys? If you want to ask in Indonesians, that's fine. Is there any questions for this use case specifically?
Ya, teman-teman, apa ada pertanyaan? Silakan. Anyone?
Maybe for me, Pak Andri,
Mangga,
Pak
Pak Heri.
Yafi.
Silakan.
It's really interesting. Yeah, we talk about how the several or many use case of implementing blockchain in our daily life. I would like to ask or raise the issue to issue to question. First, related with the discussion about GIDR, as you mentioned before, Pak Yafi. I'm just wondering when a person try to buy a gram of GRDI, the token, it means that
one GDR.
it means that there is a price for that at that time. Yeah, but during next few days, for instance, the price also dynamic, change every time. I just wondering how we explain the dynamic price of the token and also the dynamic price of the physical gold in the common market. Is it different price dynamic, or is it align or what? That's the first question, Pak Yafi. Maybe you can answer that first.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you, Pak, for the questions. Yeah. So regards to the price difference, of course, there's a price difference because we marginalized our token, right? So from the price of gold that we bought from Galleries before, we bought, for example, a kilos of gold, and we basically divided by thousands, right? Because one GIDR equals to 1 gram of gold.
Yeah.
So we include the margin from our side, then that will be the price of GDR. It can be accessed through our website. Actually, we have a reference price in GDR.co.id. You can check. It's actually moving according to the price change in Gallery 24, right? So we do have a different kind of pricing on the market because it's a secondary market, right? Indodex, Kuliah Crypto, Togo Crypto, and everyone, there are exchanges. There are a secondary market. So the price will be following the market demand and supply, right?
Yep.
So for example, right now, if let's say we can see in the Indodex, let me check right now. In Innodex, we do have a price of GADR. Let me check. 2.1 million. So 2.1 million, right? It's actually lower Then the price of gold from Galileo 24, if you buy 1 gram of gold, I believe is 2.2 something million per gram, right? So it's actually will be cheaper if you buy the GADR. Then you probably wait for the price to go up to 2.5, for example. Then you can sell, or you can actually redeem into physical gold, and you can sell it to Pegadaian, let's say.
Yeah.
So there's always difference in pricing because markets, secondary markets are different kind of things. We actually have a system where we try to make the market more stable, because if we are not really putting in liquidity in there, the pricing will be very wild. Right? So uh, if you probably can imagine, if let's say we don't put enough liquidity into the market, the secondary market, the pricing will be probably less than 2 million. So that's what happens if we don't have enough liquidity in the market. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Thank you. And the second one related to
Yes.
the supply chain. One of the challenge, I think that how to make sure that the data is valid, the data from the process. If we talk about the technological tools, for instance, like cold chain and so on, maybe there is a sensor, for instance, IoT, yeah, that involves. So the collection of data, we can make it sure, yeah. But as for one case, let's say in halal supply chain, how one of the regulation or requirement for the slaughtery when he starts slaughter is to say Bismillah, for instance.
Yeah.
How to make it sure that every slaughter, when he do slaughtery, he say Bismillah every time. This could be one of the discussion. What's in
Yeah.
your opinion about it?
Yeah, I think this is also a problem in conventional business
Conventional, yeah.
area. So we only can rely on sampling, like periodic auditing, right? To make sure the process and everything. The other things, as you mentioned, IoT is very useful these days. Um, we can do like CCTV right now.
Oh, yeah.
They can do monitoring, right? They can actually detect the face, and if the person say Bismillah. That's my imagination right now. But then we can't really make sure every time, unless we are using technology, for example, the IoT, to make sure the whole process, according to the standard. The other things, blockchain itself, it just records. You can't really make sure if the data is ethically right or ethically wrong, right? You can only determine if the data is already there, it's right. It can prove that the integrity of the data is there, but then it cannot really, determine if the data is ethically right or ethically wrong. That's the problem with most of the systems, right? And it also applies to blockchain. It cannot magically help that everything on blockchain is ethically right. It can only make sure that the data is right. The integrity
It's
is
written
there.
well.
Yeah, it is immutable. That's it. But then we can't basically in blockchain, garbage in, garbage out. If the data is wrong in the first place, then it's wrong until the end of times in blockchain.
Yeah. Interesting, Pak. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pyri. I think I saw. Yeah, I see another questions from Abian. Okay, but JDR, why they designed it to be 1 gram per coin? Why they did not design it like Roman gold coin or Arabian coin that are 4.25 grams? All right, so I understand the questions. Thank you so much, Abian, again for your question. As I said before, why we do 1 gram? Because in Indonesia, the citizens of Indonesia are more familiar with a gram of gold, right? I understand that the dinar and what's the other one? I forgot. The Arabian standard of gold, dinar and dirham. Yes. The problem was, to be honest with you, a few years back, a lot of scams, using this dinar and dirham name in the token or in the scam. So I would not want to risk my product with the highly associated illicit activities from the previous back. So that's why we don't really go into the Roman or Arabian standards. We want to have something familiar with Indonesian citizens, right? 1 gram of gold is very simple. Everybody understands. Everybody more familiar with the troy ounce as well. It's very, because we are using grams. So one troy ounce of gold is 31 point something something. It's very hard. It's too big, right? And we don't have many institutions selling in troy ounce, right? When we go to Gallery 24, when we go to Antam, you are asking in grams. You are asking for 1 gram of gold. You are asking for 10 grams, 5 grams, 50 grams, kilos, right? That's why we are, using the unit of 1 gram. So, to make it familiar, more familiar with the people in Indonesia, because this is our main target. We are trying to start from Indonesia because we are come from Indonesia. So I hope that answers your question, Sabir. Right. If there's no more questions on supply chain, I would like to move on. Yes, no more questions?
Yes, you can continue. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Pak Anji. Yes, so the next one is government services and registry. So these are the examples that we mostly did with a few of our clients. So the first one, digital document tracing and e-materai. This is what we did with Peruri. So this one was on private blockchain instead of public blockchain. So basically what we did was create a system where the document or a document additionally can be traced with e-materai as well, can be traced. For example, a document of, typically in government, they have this document called berita acara, right? BA. It's very common. A lot of government bodies or even certain companies, they have this kind of documents, berita acara. Whereas this document usually circulated among the organizations, right? So the problem was, if it's a physical document, okay, it can be, can be forged quite easily, right? With the e-materai, you can just put it there, with a signature as well. But with the digital document, it's quite hard right now with the digital signatures and everything. But then, what we want to do is we want to make sure the whole documents and the content itself, and then the signature and everything cannot be tampered, right? And also can be traced quite easily because it changed not ownership, but changed hands to different kinds of organizations. So this is what we did. So basically, this one is quite useful for projects, typically government projects that involves a lot of berita acara or BA. If you probably can imagine government projects like probably the Bansos, Bantuan Sosial, or probably the MBG, they are using a lot of berita acara, of course, because there's a reimbursement and everything. There needs to be a documents explaining that this has been done, that has been done. So this you call that the use case is very much targeting towards the kind of projects in government. Okay, the next one is the blockchain-based digital identity. This is what we are dreamed of a few years back. Basically, identity on blockchain was very hot issue. I think 3 years ago, because blockchain is about ownership, right? So the Web3 industry are crazy about ownerships, digital ownerships, because it started out with NFT. If you ever heard NFT, non-fungible tokens, it's basically how you can digitally absolutely own something in digital world, right? Previously with Web2, we can't really own a content, for example, because once content is shared, even though it's, let's say Pandri share content in Instagram or YouTube, it's his, right? But then once it is shared, it's uploaded, people can download, re-upload it. The ownership, some kind of loss. Depends on the platform that they are re-uploaded, right? But then with the blockchain, we can actually absolutely own something, or you can say digital assets on blockchain. So with this, we came up with a digital identity on blockchain to actually seamlessly doing verifications of identity. Last time, probably a lot of the participants here have their own, you can say, e-money wallets like GoPay, OVO, and everything. The first step that you want to do once you register is you want to have verifications, right? With your KTP, you try to verify your identity. And for each of these platform, you have to do it all over again, right? For example, you have to register with GoPay. In OVO, you have to register again. Even though you have the same KTP, you have the same identity, and it is the same you, right? That registered. The problem is it's not very seamless for people to keep registering and keep verification on each platforms. So this is a way for us to enable different platforms to access, instead of them accessing the Dukcapil or your information, you actually willingly giving access of your digital identity, your identity data to the platforms. So this is like probably you ever heard of the SSO from Google. This is quite similar, but we do this on blockchain. So the single sign-on, basically Google holds your information, right? And once platform enable the SSO, you can actually log in with your Gmail account, for example. This is quite similar, but this what you do is in blockchain, instead of the Google holding all of your informations, with blockchain, you actually own your informations yourself. You own the private key. So once you want to give someone access, you actually sign it with your private key. So that's the difference with the blockchain. Right. So next one is the land certificate. This is what I think we mentioned a bit earlier about the land certificates. We talked with BPN, and there was a blockade. There's a challenge, right, in how we record our land certificates, land data, and property data, right? It was very much handwritten. It was very much physical. They are trying to move into more digital space, starting with the scanning of all the physical certificates and everything. Then I think last year, they have launched the digital land certificates, basically still digital, but not blockchain based yet. So they are moving towards more safe and less centralized, basically. Because the problem is with land, a lot of sengketa, right? A lot of disputes, because the parent themselves, they can't really, say, for example, this piece of land has one owner from, let's say, 1945, because they are still in written and physical documents. So people can try to forge, right, the land certificates and try to dispute it into the BPN that it's basically double spending, right? But with blockchain, there will be no double spending. You can trace back actually the data from the very first owner to the latest owner, and you can actually transact the land quite easily on blockchain. If you check the Google, you can Google actually there's a use case of land certificate transactions from the UAE. I think it was Abu Dhabi or the other states of UAE that has done transactions of land certificates. So basically, people buy and sell the piece of land using blockchain because it's very easy. There'll be no double spending. The data updated real time. You can actually check the authenticity of the documents very easily on blockchain because it's supposed to be public, right? It's immutable. So this system, blockchain, is very, 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 I must say, fit for land certificates. Hopefully, Japan can adopt this technology in the near future. So we don't really see much of a dispute of land, and hopefully we can transact quite easily. Even we can tokenize the land itself in the near future. Yeah. So, is there any questions on the government and service use cases? I think next one, the last one is healthcare. Is there any questions on this ones?
Anyone? I think this is interesting, yeah, because we still need a lot of we need this technology to reduce the bureaucracy inefficiency in government service, yeah. But
Exactly, Pak. Exactly.
again, so I think the culture of the or the regulation, yeah. But I think we can discuss that more later.
Sure.
Yeah, interesting. Related to land certificate. Yeah, I think Pak Andri previously sent me or share me
Sure.
the project from Telkom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
They proposed the blockchain-based system of land certificate.
yeah,
The actor, yeah, really, that uh, involved within the blockchain system is a lot. Yeah, actually, more
Mhm.
than 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah,
if Pandri still remember.
yeah.
Uh, I really surprised about that. Since the first time I was introduced with the blockchain is only buyer and seller. There is no intermediaries, right? It's very
Mhm.
ideal. But in the real case, as I saw that framework is very complicated actually. So this is one of a challenge. Pak Adri mentioned that how to reduce the bureaucracy. Yeah,
Yeah.
when we use this blockchain. Yeah, this is still the big challenge for us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
Pak.
think this kind of forum for literacy, so people will know that
Yeah. Yeah.
a blockchain capability, and then we together push for the relax regulation or something like that, or more on the risk of doing without intermediary. Actually, technology can help, yeah, to reduce
Replace.
the
Yeah.
replace or maybe
Replace. Yeah.
replace. Yeah. Okay, I think anyone have question, student? No. Abian, you have another question, Abian?
I think we have also the lab assistant here. They also do the research on blockchain. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe you
think.
can elaborate. Yeah.
Ariel, you have a question, Ariel? Is there Ariel here?
Yeah, Ariel still doing the research on the government service, yeah, if I'm not
Government
mistaken.
service, yeah. Yeah.
Governance, yeah,
Okay,
about governance.
yeah. Maybe we can continue, Pak ya, Mas Yafi, maybe later at the end.
Okay, thank you, Pak Andri. Okay, let's continue. For the last topic is healthcare. Uh, Currently, this is what we do for our client right now. So blockchain-based healthcare. So currently, most of the stakeholders in healthcare industry are working in silos, right? So there are
Hmm.
cases where they share data between them, but often isolated. So
Yeah,
the situation often put risk on data integrity and continuity. So basically, if you see the picture on the right, lot of stakeholders in the industry. There are providers, industry as the pharmaceutical, the healthcare tools, right? The governments, the medical research, patients and families, and we are missing insurance here. Insurance play a big part of the healthcare industry in Indonesia, especially. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to, help the stakeholders because they don't trust each other, right? To share the data, especially the patients, right? Because a lot of things for the past few years, people in blockchain industry keep talking about the medical records. So I think that yes, that is one of the thing that is very important. Medical records is one of the examples, right, where the fragmented stakeholders, because it involves hospitals, clinics, pharmacies, insurance, to share the data, but they're keeping their own data themselves. They share only a little bit of piece of data from the patient itself to the other stakeholders. The other issues that are quite interesting is also the insurance claim. The process is, I understand that the process currently evolving into more digital claim process right now, but still a lot of paperwork are involved in the current healthcare industry. So, sorry, what we do mostly are currently with our client is more into the insurance claim process. However, on the roadmap, our Ministry of Health is actually trying to, I don't know, probably I can say centralizing the medical records, which is a good thing. That means each hospital doesn't need to own or hold their own medical records of their patients. Because when we're traveling and we get sick, right, we have to visit local hospitals or clinics. We don't have to diagnose, right? For every time we visit different hospitals, different clinics, they can just, access our medical records. This is quite similar to the concepts of digital identity. So basically, you have your own wallet consisting of your identity data and also the medical records. You can actually give permissions by signing with your private key to the hospitals to access your medical records. And once they have used it, you can actually just cut the access. So the medical records is rightfully yours and absolutely in your ownership. So I think this is one of the things that the healthcare industry can start with. But currently, what we do with one of our clients is more into the claim process of the insurance, the health insurance, right? So one of the problem that they said to us, there's a lot of phantom billing, they said. So phantom billing is basically when a hospital try to manipulate the data of non-existent patients and non-existent sickness, right? Then they try to claim into the insurance. And this is quite complicated because a lot of things involved in here. The one thing that I found out that there's a grouping method. It was regulated by the Ministry of Health. So in order for hospitals to charge to insurance or to patients, basically, right? There's a grouping method. So for each of the medical actions and diagnose, there will be a grouping method to determine like a category of sickness that you can claim to the insurance. So this is they have their own grouping method and also codes. It's very complicated, and typically each hospitals they have dedicated person doing that, right? So the problem was the phantom billing is either something very logical that they try to cheat. For example, if let's say this person is a male, right? But then they can charge these male patients for what do you call that, the pregnancy, for example, which is which is impossible, right? A man cannot pregnant, and that happens actually. That happens, uh, and the problem is they only they didn't track for each of the claim the hospital submitted to this insurance company, right? So for any changes, for example, there's a problem with the claim that it is not probably not right with the coding for the grouping, or probably the patient information is not correct, it will put on hold. However, when it put on hold, the next month the hospital can reclaim. So basically, they put another request for claim for the same patients, but they do a different grouping, right? To make it right, or to try the chance. So the problem is the insurance didn't really record for each changes on each claim. So that's when the phantom billing happened. So they can miss a lot of these fraudulent activities, and they paid these hospitals with this fraudulent activities that they did. Uh, so basically, blockchaining the insurance claims consisting of the data, what you call that, submitted from the hospitals to the insurance, and then recording for each of the actions that has been audited by the insurance staff. Then once it has been paid, also it needs to be recorded. The whole process we try to blockchain and record it on the blockchain. So whenever there's a dispute or there's a fraud, we can actually trace back who's actually the auditor from the insurance, which hospitals or clinics that did the submissions, and specifically which kind of patients, right, that involved in this process. So basically, that is the project that we are currently working on. It's not live yet. We're still working on it with one of our clients. Hopefully, this will be a trendsetter in the healthcare industry. More insurance are doing this on blockchain, so they can trace back. The most important part is when they can trace back the claims that is done by the hospitals and the clinics. I think that all from me from the use cases. I think we can go to the discussion part, Andre, on questions. Probably if there are more questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Yafi. I think we have around 9 minutes for the discussion. Yeah, I think there are so many things that Mas Yafi shared, which is very insightful for us, for student. I think these students still digest a lot more of many information that you shared today. I think maybe is there any question for you guys from you guys?
Yeah, if the questions is not related to the use cases that I've discussed,
Yeah.
that's fine. As long as it's still within the Web3 industry, I would
Yeah.
like to answer. That's fine.
Ya, I think di sini ada beberapa asisten ya yang lagi riset. Mungkin ada pertanyaan nggak dari yang lagi riset? Aureli, Lulu, Ariel, bahasa Indonesia is okay ya. Saya tadi lihat beberapa. Apakah ada? Lulu, ada pertanyaan nggak, Lulu?
Atau Lulu mau ditanya
Ya, kalau nggak
progresnya?
mau. Dilan, you have a question, Dilan? Dilan?
No, it's pretty clear. I think the blockchain thing is interesting, but I'm not doing research on that. So
Yeah.
I fear that most of my question won't be too useful. Yeah. It's a
No,
very
not
insightful discussion anyway.
yeah. Not only about research that Dylan, maybe a business model or something like that, maybe related to your quest. Ada lagi nggak yang ditanyakan ya? Siapa yang? Neta, Neta ada nggak Neta? I remember some of my student. Anyone else? Abian, you have
Sorry,
still? Ya, gimana? Ada pertanyaan?
I don't really have a question, but I just want to say, like, it's very interesting to see how blockchain is very useful in all these use cases, especially
Yes.
in supply chain and healthcare to track
Ya.
all those. And the thing Sir Yafi said about the dispute of tanah,
Mm-mm.
that's also very interesting because why is the bureaucracy so like hectic and super tedious, really? If we can just use blockchain, I think it's a brilliant idea. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I think,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I think brilliant comment from Anastasia. Anastasia, right? This one? Yeah. Okay. Any
Yes,
comment,
sir.
Pak Yafi? Any comment?
Yeah, I think for the land certificate especially, right? Yeah, I really hope that they can do this as soon as possible because with the advancement of how they measure the land right now, the margin of error is very good. I think it's only like 30 centimeters because it's the land is the assets that it should be belongs to you, right? And doing this and also for the new generations in buying and selling land. I think with the current bureaucracy, it's a bad experience for them. I hope with this blockchain, they can just buy and sell the land just by their phone, right? So that is my first hope for this reformation of of the I think we did have the digital government innovations and movement. I forgot the name. Hopefully, this one will be the best interest to do this in the next years.
Yeah, hopefully so. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I think there's another questions by Abian here.
Yeah. Yes.
Blockchain goal is for student anonymity, where personal info is hidden, but any interactions is recorded and publicly visible. However, if information contained in blockchain is about personal info, it doesn't mean like that. You can actually encrypt it, right? And then you can actually give access by signing the transactions with your private key. So you're only giving access to people or to accounts that you deem correct, right? So doesn't mean that everything public. You can actually do so-called private transactions, or you can do there's a few things. You can do private transactions. You can do zero knowledge proof. You can do encrypted transactions as well. So there's a lot of things to go around. But the basic blockchain, yes, every transactions are public. But if it's a encrypted or private transactions, you can't really see it unless you are the receiver or you are the sender. Thank you, Abian, for your question.
I think
Oh.
I think we are nearing the end of the session, Pak Yafi. I think I might conclude our class this morning. First of all, thank you for the sharing, Pak Yafi. Very insightful. Student learns a lot, especially I think about we hear a lot about supply chain and also in government service, but not exactly experience it. Yeah. So and one thing that I think is very insightful is about tokenization. I think we'll have a lot of idea to do the research or get an application that solve real world cases. Yeah. So as you mentioned before, this is just the beginning. The monetization is not kicking yet, but there are promise in this digital economy that people will exchange asset or transaction or interaction by providing the asset and as also money. So it is good for I think for the whole of digital economy in Indonesia. Blockchain is one of the core function of it. Yeah. Terima kasih ya Pak Yafi. Any last word you want to share to the student or to the class, please?
Yes, last words, I would like to encourage you guys to jump in to the industry. We need you, business mindsets, people to, help develop the use cases. I can't be alone in this industry, right? Help me, guys. Help me to innovate. Help me to, bring fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Please, please, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Yafi. Maybe before we close, we can just take the pictures together. Anyone can show the camera, please? Anyone? Yeah, please show your camera. We going to do the group photo together, please. Anyone show up your face in the camera? Some of you still not show up in the camera. Nah, ya, Dilan, Zufar, ya, Rehan still there. Oke, yuk join, ya. Oke ya. Oke, so we will have around three photo ya. I take one by one. Okay, the first camera smile, first picture smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then we go to the second one. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the third one. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that will be all for today. Thank you, Pak Yafi. Hopefully, you can come to the campus next time. Give
Yes, finally.
meeting offline and sharing everything. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Ya,
Thank you, Pak Yafi, Pak Andri,
Yo, terima kasih
Pas.
semuanya. Saya tutup. Kasih
Terima
ya, saya tutup.
kasih.
Ya, oke,
Bye.
mari. Bye.